meet this national peril. I refer first to the need for far greater public information, and second, to the need for far greater official secrecy. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. But I do ask every publisher, every editor, and every newsman in the nation to re-examine his own standards and to recognize the nature of our country's peril. In time of war, the government and the press have customarily joined in an effort based largely on self-discipline to prevent unauthorized disclosures to the enemy. In times of clear and present danger, the courts have held that even the privileged rights of the First Amendment must yield to the public's need for national security. Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. Our way of life is under attack. Those who make themselves our enemy are advancing around the globe. The survival of our friends is in danger, and yet no war has been declared. No borders have been crossed by marching troops. No missiles have been fired. If the press is awaiting a declaration of war before it imposes the self-discipline of combat conditions, then I can only say that no war ever posed a greater threat to our security. If you are awaiting a finding of clear and present danger, then I can only say that the danger has never been more clear, and its presence has never been more imminent. It requires a change in outlook, a change in tactics, a change in missions by the government, by the people, by every businessman or labor leader, and by every newspaper. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations.
That's the beast system right here. This global system of secrecy that he's talking about here. Let's continue.
Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match. Nevertheless, every democracy recognizes the necessary restraints of national security. And the question remains whether those restraints need to be more strictly observed if we are to oppose this kind of attack as well as outright invasion.
Shalom. Call Layla Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of His Son and our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai. Much respect and honor to the brothers that are doing the work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so, pushing this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth. Salutations to the hopeful elect that is scattered abroad, and double honors and respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Coming back at you with another lesson. The beast lacks transparency. And we're going to define that word, transparency. So we're living in a time where free speech is under a full-scale, multi-pronged attack. Videos are being taken down. Those that are teaching the Bible are being accused of spreading hate or medical misinformation. So secrecy and backdoor dealings is at an all-time high. And all types of deception is going out via mass media. Mass media, or mass, means deaf. So the multitudes, or the sheeple, are being led to major disaster and destruction. Outright slaughter. So let's go into the Bible. So there's a reason that this man was offed, put away. Let's go to the word
transparent.
Transparency. Allowing light to pass through. That's beautiful. Allowing light to pass through that objects behind can be distinctly seen. So if you're operating on truth, a light is not put underneath a bushel. Who do you see out standing out on the highways and byways, on the streets? Who's publishing these lessons across the World Wide Web? Primarily YouTube. That's a part of that transparency. There's nothing to hide. Even when Yahweh Shai was teaching and the Roman centurions came for him, what did he tell them? I have said nothing in secret. So he taught publicly. Let's go to right here. Easy to perceive or detect. So if you're dealing in a righteous manner, then you have nothing to hide. Nothing. Let's go here. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 2. So this is the new holy righteous government that's going to be established under our King of Kings and Lord of Lords, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Let's go to Isaiah 2. The Most High's universal reign. And he's delegating that authority to reign on earth to Yahweh Shai. Let's go to Isaiah 2, verse 1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So this new government is going to be the center of the world. It's going to be the new beacon of light for all nations, nationalities, peoples, multitudes, languages to flow unto. And the new language that's going to be established is really not new at all, but the world is going to revert back to the Paleo Hebrew tongue. All confusion is going to be put down on the earth. Transparency is going to be glowing, blazing bright, because the light of the world is going to be occupying the throne of David. So these nations are going to eat from the table of the Lord. So they're going to be taught how to worship. They're going to be taught how to diet, how to eat, how to live. So life is going to spring forth on the earth. Let's read it again. Isaiah 2, verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So these mountains represent governments and hills, smaller governments, what you would call today commonwealths. So all nations are going to seek the guidance, the wisdom, the knowledge and understanding of the God of Jacob through Yahushua and the men of the house of David. Let's go to verse 3. The book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 3. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. What are we reading about? Transparency. No more secret organizations. No more covert missions. Undercover and backdoor operations going on. No more backbiting and backstabbing. So this is a new world order being established on the earth in absolute total righteousness under the tabernacle of David. Let's go to verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So no more bloodshed on the earth. No more pain, sorrow, and sickness to the Lord's chosen elect, the house of David, and the remnant of the house of Jacob. So the earth is going to heal itself through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. This is the real global reset, where the earth is being refreshed, replenished, and healed, made new. Let's go to verse 5. O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Therefore, thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east, and are soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. So the Israelites get cleaned up first, no longer following the ways of the heathen and being compromised by the uncircumcised, those that are unclean. No longer will Jerusalem or the house of the Lord be trampled over by the other nations and trodden underfoot. Let's look at this word light in verse 5. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Let's go into that word light. That's transparency. Nothing to hide when the kingdom is built on the pillars of wisdom. Comes from the Hebrew.
Strong's H216. Or.
Bright, clear, happiness, luminary, light of prosperity, light of instruction. That's heavy. Yahweh as Israel's light. So this is wisdom. This kingdom is being built on the pillars of wisdom. That's why it's an everlasting kingdom that will never fade away. Let's go into this word. I'm going to go up to verse 3. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Let's look at this word teach. Teach. Comes from the Hebrew.
Strong's H3384. Yara.
So we have to flow as water. That's beautiful. To flow as water. Direct, inform, lay, show, teach. Wow. To flow as water. Let's go to Isaiah 55. Isaiah 55, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. So the earth is going to be fattened up, well fed, through the Lord's house, his holy tabernacle. And his only begotten son, Yahushua, is going to occupy the throne on the earth. So it's going to be a kingdom ruled in perfection. Let's go to verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So this earth is going to be renewed, reset, made over in a new, holy, righteous kingdom, cleansed. So everything this man is saying, this world went in the opposite direction. Look at the world today. Secrecy, deception, and misinformation, and the suppression of First Amendment freedom of speech is at an all-time high. Let's get one more. I'm going to go to Psalms 64. See? Secret societies. And right now, that's the dragon. A global business enterprise. A system under the European Union, NATO, with America riding this beast. Psalm 64, verse 1, it says, prayer for deliverance from secret enemies. What secret enemies? Secret societies. Lucifer, the Luciferians, the so-called Illuminati. They're Luciferians. We can read about that in Isaiah chapter 14. The light bearers, so-called, or Illuminati, illuminated ones. That's who this is talking about. The global elite. Psalm 64, verse 1, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. So that insurrection is an uprising. The same conspiracy or uprising that assassinated John F. Kennedy. The same uprising that's trying to suppress our videos from going out. Taking down our channels. Demonizing the Israelites. Demonizing the teachers. Demonizing the apostles and prophets. Let's go to verse 3. Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Misinformation. Hate speech. So they're using their propaganda and their weaponized media to create policy or to drive policy. Unrighteous decrees. Let's go to verse 4. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. So you weaponize media with the ultimate objective to bring a sword, a kinetic fight. Warfare starts with demonization. First you dismiss, then you try to demonize. Then that destruction follows shortly thereafter. So you have, I can't remember all of them, the 4 Ds: dismiss, demonize, and eventually destroy. Let's go to verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares. Privately, they say, who shall see them? So he talked about that in his video. President John F. Kennedy. Covert means doing things in secret. The lack of transparency. A hidden agenda from the public view or from the public eye. There's a reason that this man was assassinated, speaking out against the beast's agenda. There's a certain part where he goes into that beast. where he lays it out, and I pause it. Can't get back to it. I'm not going to worry about it. Don't want to make this long. Right here. Military, intelligence, economic, scientific, political. And there's also a religious proponent to that, a Roman Catholic Church. This is the beast, the dragon, a global network under the European Union, NATO, and America. Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. The beast system lacks transparency. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rekakadash. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Barakatham, Kwam Yasharallah, and Abad Babao. We got next, Lord willing. Shalom.